Boy, there's. New.
All right, welcome to the March 27th Village of Shawnee Hills Council meeting. For all the candidates, stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of
The United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Gates, here, Kaiser, here, Rosa,
Here.
and here, Patrick,
Here.
Zimmerman.
approval of minutes from the 13th, anything on page 1?
Yes. Under village administrator, the third sentence, it starts with a lower T, it should be a capital T. On the
Page 2? Page 3?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay.
About halfway down, there's a paragraph starts all of our banner brackets. Then the next sentence says most of then, it should be an M as in Mary instead of N as in Nancy.
Do you have one?
Yeah, 3. Second sentence down, it says what it should be due. The
OD is.
yeah.
Page 4? Page 5?
Yes.
Okay.
No, on 5, Shirley. You go down to Russ's comments, okay? The price for the Tahoe is just a little bit, you need to add more in there. You just got a little bit. Also, maintenance wise, it should be Ford Explorer is turning out much more expensive, okay? To own, and
no,
then
it would be, the Tahoe is turning out to be less.
right, less expensive, I'm turning out, right, the Ford. Okay, the Ford Explorer is turning out much more expensive for a police department than the Tahoe. Okay, so you just split the cars around. And that was it on that one. And I do.
All right, Todd, page 6?
Yes. I'm not Todd, but yeah. The top sentence, Shirley said that this was for the payments. It should be 4.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second,
Gates, yes.
Kaiser, yes, Rosa.
Yeah.
And yes, Patrick.
Yes.
Zimmerman.
Yes,
All right, approval of the agenda.
I have a motion to add an executive session to consider the purchase of property for public use pursuant to revised code 121.22 G2.
Have a motion to approve the agenda with the revision.
So
We're going to add it.
Add it.
We're going to add it at the,
After the president
after
report.
the treasurer's report.
Okay with you.
That works for me, thank you. Okay. Possibly.
so moved.
Second,
Yes.
Kaiser, yes, Rosa.
Yes.
Manning, yes, Patrick.
Yes.
Zimmerman.
yes.
And I have one, there was a typo on the last piece of ordinance. And that is the first reading of the ordinance 092023. It should be by, BY instead of B after Shawnee Hills. No,
It'd be amended.
we can do that.
We'd be amended, right?
All right, Brian.
Thank you, Mayor. There's 2 things on my report tonight, both actually related to the legislation that's on the agenda. Resolution 07-2023 is the companion, really the second piece of legislation with respect to the police levy. It's not drafted as an emergency, but like the last piece of legislation, it will become effective once it's adopted. So you have choices to read it 1, 2, or 3 times. If you decide to wait the second and third readings or the third, it would become effective whenever you decide to adopt it. We do have a little bit of time because you figure the election's not till November, so you have 90 days before then. So we've built in plenty of time to be able to have a reading 1, 2, or 3, have it adopted, get it to the Board of Election, make sure they're good with it. Plenty of time for the deadline. Second piece of legislation that I spent a lot of time on was ordinance 09/2023, which is that resolution where we are amending the fee schedules. I know that Russ and Chris Tebby had worked extensively on that, so that's where those numbers may come from. If any of you, I know there was a spreadsheet that was created that showed like the old fee and the new fee. If you don't want to go back and forth, shoot me an email or something. I can get you a copy of that because that's what I worked up to create the piece of legislation. So a lot of them staying the same, but some did. There were some increases along the way. So that information is available if you need that. And that's all I have tonight.
Any questions for Brian? All right, that's Brian.
Yep.
All right, we have no administrator, we have no police chief. Do we have any visitor forums?
I'd like to make note that somebody in the audience has ice cream. Just,
Yeah, just to tempt you there,
yeah.
to go to Dell's afterward.
And, looking at that.
I thought it was a rule, if you didn't bring enough for everyone, you couldn't bring it.
Oh, I didn't get that memo, sorry. Well, I'm Candace with the health department. Just got a couple flyers here. They're doing collections at different locations here for electronics, TVs, hazardous waste. And then I think you pay a small fee for them to take like paints and things like that. And then the norovirus is going around. So just different things you guys can hang up in different areas to prevent that or decrease that going around. There was a Board of Health member opening. If anybody's interested in that. And they have a new clinic schedule for immunizations at Sunbury in Delaware. So that's updated. Do you guys have any questions for me?
No.
Wonderful. I don't know if I can answer them, but I work with women, infants, and children. So
Well, thank you for coming. All right, communications, so I actually have a statement I'll read. Okay, so many of you know you're at the planning and zoning, so we have some hot button topics that I'd like to address. As all households are aware, the village requested some feedback about multifamily housing via a survey that was sent the week before last. I'll first apologize on the quick turnaround time as the fact that this was over spring break for Dublin schools. I merely looked at a calendar for a return date and based my decision solely on the next planning and zoning meeting. So we asked for it back Friday, we'll review it Monday and discuss on Tuesday. While I do have 2 kids in school, I had no plans for travel and don't even know when their spring break was. So another issue with the survey was the manner in which it was sent out. We do not have a list of registered voters. So we merely took our sewer list, whoever the addressee was, and that's how we sent it. So we sent the households that way. Now, we do want feedback from the entire household. So this is not you get 1 vote for your house, it's the entire household. But this isn't a ballot or a vote. So any survey that comes in after, say, Friday, it will be reviewed. We're actually looking for that feedback. As I said in our previous meeting, any type of change can sometimes be contentious and emotional. We're merely trying to gather vital information to determine our options. Factual information is most important for residents to form their own opinion for the future of their ideal community. If anyone has questions, I urge you to contact me directly. My email is on the website. I hope anyone with questions is here tonight or actually watching at home. Some of the facts that need stated of the multifamily discussion deal with 2 separate issues. I referenced this situation previous to the planning and zoning meeting. We're discussing the possibility of adding new zoning for for HUD legislation revision to allow multifamily and simultaneously hear a presentation of the landowner north of Straders about multifamily mixed-use project. As I said, these are separate issues. Now, one does depend on the other, but we can't intermingle these items. We may or may not like about the concept that was presented with the discussion of the inclusion of this type of zoning in our code. There are many advantages and disadvantages of allowing this type of zoning. We're at the beginning of that conversation, and there is no rush and there is no application that has been presented. Any changes would go through planning and zoning first and then on to council for any sort of vote. As that property sits now, it was mostly recently approved for retail along Dublin Road and storage units. There's ample time to get questions answered, voice concerns, or support. During planning and zoning, the need for a new comprehensive plan was also discussed. We discussed this in finance tonight as well. I reviewed the plans from 2001 and 2011. I actually have them here. They're at the municipal building if anybody's interested. They were both produced by the Delaware County Regional Planning Group. I do not know the cost. It's come to light that they were $11,000. I have an appointment with them on April 6th to talk with Scott Sanders Russell. I believe an equally big decision will be if money is spent on a new comprehensive plan and what we expect to learn from it. If I had to summarize the previous two versions, I say it was a report of the characteristics of Shawnee Hills that we are all well aware of. Of the items they recommend, we've made progress towards quite a few. It confirmed we do have narrow roads, stormwater problems, need for access to the river, and a development of our main street. It has taken time, but we've steadily worked towards some of the recommendations and have finished some over the years, like sidewalks, street lamps, and the intersection. We have also chosen to ignore some of the recommendations, and I'll preface this with triple asterisks. This is not being presented. This is not up for any vote. They recommended widening roads and making them one way. All right, again, not presented. All right. The quote we have for a comprehensive plan now is for $42,200 for a third-party vendor to perform a comprehensive plan. We will be receiving more, including Delaware County Planning's cost. This was the reason for citing the cost in the survey. The receipt posted on social media from Delaware County Visitors Bureau was for strategic marketing plan. This is far less detailed and not a good apples to apples comparison in content or fair to compare costs. I believe a useful comprehensive plan would address not only our current deficiencies, but also a blueprint for expansion, ideas for economic development, and access to creative types of financing and grants. This is a good segue to another topic that was discussed with multifamily housing, the finances. While it's been insinuated and suggested that we are broke, I can report that we had one of the highest years in revenue in 2022, and 2023 is trending the same way. I believe this misunderstanding was from a comment in planning and zoning I made for the need to consider multifamily due to financial positions we could find ourselves in our future. Our engineer, Chris Tebby, presented last month to our UST committee and in council on the current and future costs of our sewer system, changes to different fees, and increases all satellite communities to Columbus sewer will deal with. Columbus increases costs 5% per year, and we have maintained our cost at a loss to the village. They will also mandate inspections much like the one we just completed for the EPA that costs over $100,000. First presented several scenarios of the operating costs we will encounter through 2050 and what options we have to make up the predicted shortfall of $9 million if we remain on our current fee structure. We have taken steps to update fees to market rates for tap fees and other development costs. There are several rate increase options we would have to consider as well that would take into account development versus current number of households. We would also need to consider that any shortfall we'd encounter over this period would be accounted for by funds from other accounts which would affect other village services. This does not mean we are broke and are in trouble. It does mean we need to address plans for how we will deal with the cost that is expected to increase over time. As for our current condition, as Russ's report on our finance and budget was posted says, every fall, we start working on the following year's budget based on projected revenue. We have historically been very conservative on this, and every year has resulted in some amount of carryover. We have also been very creative in our expenditures for some of our current projects utilizing the bloated street fund that we didn't have to use any during COVID. And the result past years have not required street repair in the 2 TIF accounts. One of the items that was of concern was the new police cruiser. As in past years, we have tried to rotate our vehicles in service to keep them in good working order. As some may remember, we came perilously close to only having 1, maybe 2 available just a few years back. We also must deal with the historically unpredictable delivery times of the cruiser, and I believe our previous was well over a year to a year and a half to receive. The track record of our current Ford Explorer models has not been great, and other agencies are migrating to the Tahoe. As reported in council, this vehicle was available immediately at a similar cost, and the price quote was good for 30 days. As the discussion of multifamily zoning progresses, there will be many opinions and conversations. One person may have a different vision of the future village than someone else, and they are entitled to. I urge you all to formulate your own opinion on these issues with accurate information that we will continue to accumulate and discuss in committees and council. I'd like to thank our committees for their time, dedication, and thoughtfulness with past projects and the future progress that we are making. So Shirley, I'll give you a copy if you want. All right, Rob.
I did meet with the American Legion Post 800. They did say that we'll be able to do the rededication of the Veterans Memorial on Memorial Day. So more to follow. We'll be meeting again in April to discuss and put out a detail. And then I'll be working on an agenda. That's all I have to do.
All right, committee reports.
Finance met before this meeting. Dan, you covered the comprehensive plan that we talked about. The other topic was healthcare coverage for the employees, and the new plan that they have is going to save $10,073.04 this year. So looks pretty good. That's it. We just talked about those 2 issues.
Anyone else? No. So, legislative actions. This is a 3rd reading, resolution 04/2023, a resolution authorizing and directing the village administrator and fiscal officer to execute a development agreement with Equity LLC and declare an emergency, which we do not have to. Any questions on that? Do I have a motion to adopt resolution 04/2023?
So moved.
Second.
Gates.
Yes.
Iker.
Yes.
Rosa.
Yes.
Manny. Yes. Batcher.
Yes.
Zimmerman.
Yes.
All right, this is a first reading resolution 07/2023, a resolution to proceed with placing the issue on the ballot of a 2 1/2 mils 3-year renewal levy for providing and maintaining motor vehicles, communications, other equipment, buildings, and sites for such buildings used directly in the operation of a police department for the payment of salaries of permanent or part-time police communications or administrative personnel to operate the same, including the payment of any employer contributions required for such personnel under revised code 145.48 or revised code 742.33. That's a first reading. This is a first reading resolution 08/2023, a resolution authorizing and directing the village administrator and fiscal officer to execute all documents necessary to provide all full-time employees with the, is it COSE, Shirley, benefit plan through Medical Mutual and declare an emergency. So anybody have questions on this? We went over this in finance, but anyone else?
Is the emergency in order to maintain coverage?
Yeah,
Move to the new plan?
it goes in effect May 1st.
Okay.
And just by the way, this is, so the previous plan went up 39.41%. That's the reason for the shopping. So,
Sean,
so do I have a motion to, where am I at?
Then
Second, third reading.
Oh, I didn't read it. I lost the number. No, I'm writing to suspend the second, third reading and declare resolution 08-2023 emergency.
so moved.
second,
Gates.
Yes.
Isaac.
Yes.
Rosa.
Yes.
Manning.
Yes.
Batchor.
Yes.
Zimmerman.
yes,
Motion to adopt resolution 08-2023.
So moved.
Second.
Gates.
Yes.
Isaac.
Yes.
Rosa.
Yes.
Manning. Yes. Batchor.
Yes.
Zimmerman.
yes,
All right, this is the second reading, ordinance 07-2023.
We need to.
It's amended. Did I read it? Or
No, amend it first. This is just add 15,000 in for the bond payment.
make a motion to
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to amend the ordinance 07-2023 to include $50,000.
no second.
Second.
Gates.
Yes.
Isaac.
Yes.
Rosa.
Yes.
Manning.
Yes.
Batchor.
Yes.
Zimmerman.
yes,
Okay, as amended. This is a second reading, ordinance 07-2023, ordinance to reappropriate funds for current expenses and other expenditures of the village of Shawnee Hills, state of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2023. This is a first reading ordinance 08-2023, an ordinance authorizing the payment of the invoice received from Just Howard Electric Company and declared emergency. Any questions on this? Do I have a motion to suspend with the second and third reading and declare ordinance 08-2023 an emergency?
So moved.
Second.
Gates.
Yes.
Isaac.
Yes.
Rosa.
Yes.
Manning. Yes. Batchor.
Yes.
Zimmerman.
yes,
All right. Do I have a motion to adopt ordinance 08-2023?
So moved.
Second.
Gates.
Yes.
Isaac.
Yes.
Rosa.
Yes.
Manning. Yes. Batchor.
Yes.
Zimmerman.
yes,
The first reading ordinance 09-2023, an ordinance amending section 1129.07 of the codified ordinances of the village of Shawnee Hills by amending the application and permit fee schedule, as well as adopting an engineering plan review fee schedule. First reading. Did we review bills?
yes,
Do I have a motion to pay the bills in the amount of $47,563.08?
so moved,
Second. Gates.
Yes.
Isaac.
Yes.
Rosa.
Yes.
Manning. Yes. Batchor.
Yes.
Zimmerman.
yes,
All right, Shirley, treasurer's report?
General fund, 454,338.89. Street fund, 456,501.78. State highway, 34,251.85. Continuing professional training, 2,535.48. Evans Farm Jed, 41.27. Drug law enforcement, 534.41. Indigent drivers, 385.84. Law enforcement trust, 3,259.20. American Rescue Plan, 63,418.14. Enforcement education, 1,245.85. Fire fund, 152,045.91. TIF, 155,309.53. TIF 2, 43,824.15. Police district fund, 156,432. Veterans Memorial, 298.97. Sewer operating, 46,458. Sewer replacement, 8,608. Storm sewer, 19,843.43. And debt service, 113,992.39 for a total of 1,712,634.07. And we did get our property tax
We have a motion to adopt the treasurer's report as written.
Second.
Gates. Yes. Iker.
Yes.
Rosa.
Yes.
Manny. Yes. Hatcher.
Yes.
Zimmerman.
Yes.
Make a motion, we move into executive session.
So
Second.
moved. No, I'm sorry.
Second.
Second, I'm sorry.
If say.
Well, you gotta say the whole.
Okay. I make a motion, we move into executive session to consider the purchase of property for public use pursuant to revised code 121.22 G2, including council members and the counselor. Mayor.
So.
I was gonna let you.
Second.
Gates. Yes. Iker.
Yes.
Rosa.
Yes.
Manny. Yes. Hatcher.
Yes.
Zimmerman.
Yes.
I make a motion to return from executive session back to the regular council meeting.
Deeds, yes. Isaac.
Yes.
DeRosa.
Yes.
Bentley. Yes. Patrick.
Yes.
Zimmerman.
Yes.
All right, any miscellaneous business?
I didn't have any miscellaneous business, but I was just gonna comment on some of the communications thing. First of all, thanks for putting all of that information out there, and I know a lot of discussion's been had about the survey. And something we need to consider for future ones, doing them online, give it times. Do them online instead of paper copies, just for whatever surveys we might want to do them. I didn't get one at my house, I was gone, but I didn't get one. And I don't know why or what, who knows the rhyme or reason, and that's okay, because that's strictly what it is, it's just to get some feedback. But I do think it was nice that we did do that, to send it out and get some honest communication from the residents, which is something we haven't done in the past, so I thought that was very good. So I would just encourage us, if we do any future surveys, to try to have an online option as well as.
Well, what I'm worried about is if you maybe not paid your sewer bill.
Well, the sewer bill came.
Well,
I wish that one wouldn't have got lost.
the survey evidently got jammed up in the works at the post office, because I know a friend of mine here in the village first came in.
Yeah, there was
There
Yeah,
were a few, I've heard of a few that's
yeah.
more damaged.
And this is the second bill in 3 months that has not arrived at my house.
Ooh, but you did get a survey.
But I did get the survey. It was a little on the edges, but.
Did you get Renee's?
I know, right? You got mine.
I'll have to look at my mailbox, and it'd be about right.
There you go. Good day.
Ross would like that.
Thank you, Renee.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Well, I have some, Russ and I did a conference call with two people from Regional Income Tax Agency regarding the Evans Farm JED. And they got Russ's list, they had already had most of those businesses, but not all, so they are. There will be a subpoena issued to someone that they're trying to get, the general contractor, whatever, to get all this information, but. there'll be a subpoena issued. Trying to get.
If I
information.
read it to the contractor?
Because they're trying to get the hold of the contractor who isn't really responding. And so their only option left is to do a subpoena to get the records so they can figure out how much they actually owe. That's
Okay.
and then getting the businesses to start withholding and stuff too.
Does
So they are,
Concord, do you know if Russ talked to Concord, does Concord know that?
I don't know. This was just
Okay.
last Thursday, so.
Okay, yeah.
Um, But they are aware, they are trying to get, the construction people plus the businesses up and running.
And that was on Rita?
Yes.
All right, any other business? All right, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?